I believe I'm live. So, I just gotta share. Yep. Okay, there we go. Let's go review that one. Let's go review that one. And we should be good, y'all. I should be up and running in all three places right now. Confirm, confirm in all three places. There we go. Sisters, greetings, goddess. I missed you too, Jamie. Thank you so much for being here. I figured you would get the message if I tagged you this morning. That was the plan, Stan, and it appears to have worked. Hey, Alexis, thank you so much for joining. Hi, Pam. How y'all doing? Oh, come on in, come on in, come on in. I'm so excited. I am so glad to be back on my doggone on screen. Hey, Hayward, how are you? And Facebook is actually cooperating. Facebook is apparently serving this up so everybody know that a sister is alive and in color today. Yes! I'm so excited. So, I can't be moving around like that. I don't know how my hair gonna act. I don't know what my hair gonna do. So I can't be moving around, flinging my head around and whatnot, because I don't know what's gonna happen. Let me make sure we ain't got no lipstick on the teeth, dude. We ain't got no lipstick, right? We doing good. We doing good. Y'all don't let me look crazy. Don't be letting me be out here with lipstick on my teeth and whatnot. I got a good show for y'all today. We talking about commitment. I learned over these past few weeks since I have not been on the air. Hey Jason, how you doing? I like him. I've learned a few things. And I want to share them with you. I typically wait until the day of. Hi, Ollie. Thank you so much for joining. I typically wait until the day of to come up with my topics because momentum. Momentum. The truth of the matter is, when you go to sleep, you break momentum. That happens, whether you want it to or not, but you break momentum. So I typically wait until the day of to come up with my topic. So this morning, as I was meditating and, listening and just kind of being in my body and being in the moment and being present, I asked the question, and I always ask, what's the message for today? What's the lesson? What are we talking about? And I kept hearing the triumphal return, right? I heard that. And I also heard counting the cost. And I shared with a couple people this week, Cecilia, my alumni group, like seriously, I should have handled what I've been dealing with differently. Now, on the advice of counsel, I can't go into what it is that I'm dealing with in particular. Some people know, most people do not. But what I realized is that you can't be halfway in and halfway out. And that's something that I've known, but for reasons inexplicable. Well, you know what? I think the reasons are explainable. Hi, Lucretia. Thank you very much for joining, love. The reasons are explainable. And the reasons are because a lot of our identity. Well, I'm going to talk for me today. Because this is a testimonial show. I'm so happy to be back. But what I recognize is that a lot of my identity is tied up in what I do. So, my being a mother, being a wife, being a grandmother, running my businesses, being a credit coach, being a trader, all the stuff that I do, being a friend, being a socialite, because I have admitted to myself that I really enjoy that. I really, 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 really enjoy that. All of that creates in my mind, all of that solidifies my ego. All of that solidifies who I think I am. And because all of that solidifies who I think I am, when I am unable to do one or many of those things, then I do what most people do. I start scratching and surviving. I start trying to, prove to myself and to the world and whoever else, really to myself. But I start trying to prove to myself that I am all of these things. I am every woman. I am every woman all the time. I never have an issue getting done the things that I want to get done. So when I found myself in a situation where I could not kind of maneuver the way that I'm accustomed to maneuvering and doing the things that I am accustomed to doing, then I started, kind of started, fighting back. And all fighting does, the Bible said don't kick against the spikes. Because all fighting does is give you more things to fight. And you just get on a vibration where you just fighting. So and that can appear, that can manifest and show up in your life in many different ways. So so I decided that what I was Michi, I'm online, babe, so I don't know why this one is open, but anyway, well, I decided that what I should have done, of course, hindsight is 2020 vision. I decided that what I should have done is I should have either been all in, like just press all the way through, or all out. Just take the time, take the L, take the fall. And it ain't even really an L. It's just, just like stop. You need to stop, because you need to stop. Just stop. It's okay. I promise everything gonna be right where you left it when you get back. And if I'm giving advice to my friends, hey Kurt, glad to see you, sir. If I'm giving advice to my friends, to my family, especially if I'm giving advice to my children, I'm really good at saying, listen, take the time. Hey, Donna, take the time that you need to take. I'm really good at giving that advice to other people. But physician, heal thyself. I had a really difficult time accepting my own advice and doing what I know I should have been doing for myself. So I've ended up just kind of frustrated in a number of areas and falling behind. And yeah, so it wasn't lovely. It wasn't how I like it to be, but I have forgiven myself. I am moving on, and I'm on schedule. That's the thing that's crazy. I'm still on schedule. Today is the day that I was supposed to be back live. That was the plan. That was the plan from the beginning. Remember, I told y'all that I was going to be on Vipassana, that I was going to be in Miami rather on vacation. And then after that, I was going to be completely unreachable because I was going to be on Vipassana. I will be back by the 7th, which was yesterday, to start my first class. And then today I will be back online. And here it is. Yesterday was the 7th. I was in position for my first class, but not my first class, but for my next class, this fall session. And I'm here today. So if you don't know me by now, let me introduce myself. I am Celebrity Mary, and this here is the MoneyFest Destiny Show. I am out here leading with love. I'm governed by peace, and I do this every Sunday at the most segregated hour of the week, 11 o'clock in the morning, crack of dawn. And I know for y'all, some of y'all ain't the crack of dawn, but you know what I mean. This is the gospel of money, because money is your God-given right. It's a different kind of Bible study. And like I said, I do this each and every Sunday at 11 o'clock. And then I come back and rebroadcast this same show at 6 o'clock. And then on Thursday, we do it at lunchtime. I do have a call-in number. So this is a two-way street. This is a participatory show. You are welcome to call me and have whatever discussions you want to have with me. The phone number is 669-900. Hey, DeMarquise. 6833 669 900 6833. The webinar ID is 766-687-876, and your participant ID is 40. The number 40. Okay. Again, the webinar ID. Greetings, Miss Economy. Hey, Economy. Hey again, DeMarquise. I'm so glad y'all here. Y'all make me feel so good. I feel so excited. I'm trying to get through this. Let me tell y'all the phone number again. So it's 669-900-6833. The webinar ID is 766-687-876. And the participant ID is the number 40. Come on in here and tell you, girl, hey, I'm here with y'all today. I'm so excited to see y'all. Just call me up and say hi. I want you to give me feedback. Let me know if I'm hitting all the marks that you want me to hit. And let me know if you want me to, what you want me to talk about in upcoming weeks. If you think that I should have a conversation with someone about some of these things that we talk about. Oh, DeMarquise, I miss you too. I miss all you guys. I missed everybody. And I promise I am back, baby. I'm back. I don't know about this vacation thing. I don't know. We'll talk about that another time. Make sure that you stick around to the end, because I always have exciting announcements about business credit and a lot of other juicy stuff that I got this year. Do y'all realize that this year is just about over? We are in the 9th month. I'm still feel like I just started the show last week. We are in the 9th month of the year 2019. It is definitely time for the 2020 Boss Up, and I'll talk to you about the Boss Up soon. So today's before I get into it, you know that this show has caveats, warnings, and disclaimers. This is the only show of its kind. Ain't nobody else doing what I'm doing, and it's cool. I like it. I like it like that. And apparently y'all like it like that too. So here are the caveats, warnings, and disclaimers. Do not assume that a person is lying just because you've not heard the teaching that they're bringing before now. Any opinions that are expressed on this show are those of the speakers and not necessarily those of the show. And all advice that's given is based on personal experience and independent research by the speaker. So engage at your own risk. Okay. So listen, what today's show is about, this is the MoneyFest Destiny show. We out here solving real problems for real people. Today, we're going to talk about what God has to say about commitment. Commitment is part of that economic healing. Don't get it twisted. It's part of that. That's part of that. So I want you to make sure as we get into this, I'm about to frame the show. So you got a couple seconds to do this here. Go ahead and tag some people on this video, share this video, repost this video, start a watch party, use the hashtag 2020 Boss Up, because for real, that's what we getting ready to do. We're talking about commitment. And that's the thing that's the theme that was recurring in my mind when I was asking the question, what are we doing today? What's today's show? And what it comes down to is it's all about commitment. That's the thing that I feel like I've learned over these past few weeks when I have been unable to do the thing that I wanted to do. And I was it was like, so I say unable, but the truth of the matter is I didn't want the consequences that came with pushing through. So since I didn't want those consequences, I didn't push through. So I was kind of pinky toeing. And y'all have heard me talk about that before. I do not like that shit. I don't know if y'all like that, but doing a little bit, just stick your toe in. I don't like that. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. I felt out of sorts. It's not how I roll. So anyway, like I said, we are talking today about what God has to say about commitment. Now, before I get into the word, I want to make sure that in addition to the hashtags and whatnot, that you remember to go ahead and join me. Make sure that you can see when I go live. You make sure that you can keep getting this juicy content. I also want to invite you to join my group. Now, this is not a new group. For some reason, I just had not been using it the way that, I know what the reason is. When I initially created it, I created it specifically for my radio show audience. But as I thought about it, as I was thinking about how committed I am to my own growth, to sharing this information with the people who continue to follow me, loyal people who are committed, who have been committed to this movement of getting themselves from the place they are to the place they want to be. I realized that I got to start condensing things. It doesn't make sense to break things up and set them apart. So I want to invite you to my Facebook group, Celebrity Mary Presents Bag Lady Revived. That group the address is facebook.com/groups/Bag Lady Revived. And remember, BAG is an acronym and it stands for Blessed, Anointed, and Gifted. All right. So I know we got our own, everybody got their bags. Everybody, sometimes we get in our bags and it ain't pretty. Everybody trying to get a bag. And hey, y'all know that's me. There's me. I'm at these bags. And I'm letting you come with me at these bags. So in that group, of course, I continue to share a lot of tips. I call them 360 tips because it's all around good advice. It's all around good advice. Tips, tricks, hacks, wealth, money, health, credit, entrepreneurship. And of course, you know me, it's funny. So bring your stuff in, and I like doing contests too. So make sure you are following me on my page. Go to Celebrity Mary Golden Hearts Holdings. That's where you will find my page. If you're on Twitter, Periscope, and IG, you'll find me at Celebrity Mary. And again, join my group, Celebrity Mary Presents Bag Lady Revive. Now, let's talk about what we're talking about. Every week, we frame this show. And I want to let y'all know something. I'm going to start at the end. At the end of the day, it's all about cash flow, y'all. It's all about cash flow. if you do not have if you do not have several constant streams of income that you do not have to touch on a regular basis in order to keep them coming in, then you are going to remain amongst the classes of workers known as the poor and the working class. We know that wealth distribution in this world and in this country is inequitable. We know this, and that's what we talk about. There are these four classes of workers: the poor and the working class, the wealthy and the elite. And again, if you do not have several income streams, I don't mean several jobs. You cannot be the gardener, the pool cleaner, the hairdresser, the barber, the nail tech, the jeweler, the doctor, the lawyer. You can't do all of those things to create these income streams because there's only one you, and it ain't but 24 hours in every day. So you have to find a way to change the way that you perceive money and income so that you recognize that you need to be making money from what you know and not necessarily from what you do. Okay? That's how I say that. That's what I want you to start thinking about. How do you get money? How do you attract money through what you know versus what you do? You don't need to be hands-on all the time. You want to have money coming into you that you know it's coming, but it's still a nice surprise when it shows up. So you want you some investment income, and I do mean income, and you want you some portfolio income, meaning out in some market, you got some money somewhere in a market working for you. You want to have the stuff that you do touch, the things that you do want to do. You want that to bring you money. So one of the things that happened to me a few years ago is I decided that I like the idea of getting cash back for doing stuff that I do every day. And it sounds like that sounds like a commercial for, some credit card or some other business. But the truth of the matter is, it just makes sense. If I'm going to get my hair done, for instance, right? That money is spent. Well, for me, it's invested because I get my hair done and then I come see y'all. So, and if my hair ain't done, y'all probably just gonna slide right by. As cute as I am, even when my hair is not done. But y'all probably gonna just slide right by. But you have to put yourself in a situation where, for instance, getting your hair done is actually an investment. Now, let's say that instead of my hairdresser giving me that little punch card and saying, when you get to 10, once you have spent or come here 10 times, you've had 10 different services done, then we're going to give you $20 off, which, $20 off is $20 saved, right? And a penny saved is a penny earned. But what if instead of doing that, she gave me a card that said every time somebody come in here and says Celebrity Mary sent me, or I watch the Celebrity Mary show, she sends me $10 or $5. You see what I'm saying? It ain't like that can't happen. It ain't like that cannot happen. And it actually is not that difficult to do. In fact, a few of my friends have affiliate programs that they have built themselves. I know Derek is one of them. Derek Moore is one of the people who built an affiliate program. And, a number of folks are doing it. And it's actually really easy to do. You can set up appointments online. You can have somebody click. This is some free drip for those of you who do personal services. You know how you have people just click, they go online and they can schedule their own appointments. If you haven't already set that up for yourself, set that up for yourself. I don't care which platform you use because I don't know them very well, but I do know that you didn't start your business to be, having to manage tedious little things like your calendar. You should be able to just pick up your calendar, look at it, and say, oh, this is what I'm doing today, because you have, in effect, an assistant that has set up those calendars, set up those dates for you. You set it up on the front end where you say, okay, I'm not available at these times on these days, but these are the days that I have available to do, twist outs or wash somebody's hair, whatever it is that you do in your salon. And you can also have a space on there that says, how did you not learn about me? Celebrity Mary told me. And you can have this thing set up so that whenever somebody types in Celebrity Mary or chooses Celebrity Mary from the drop down, that automatically a a credit is sent to Celebrity Mary's account with you. And once Celebrity Mary's account reaches a certain level or a certain number, then automatically a check is sent to Celebrity Mary. It's real easy. Technology has made this very simple. And one of the things that one of the ways that I can see you making that work for you in your business, no matter what your business is that if you let people know that you've got an affiliate program and that they actually get real dollars for, saying, yeah, Celebrity Mary did my hair, or whatever your name is, did my hair, then people will, you will find yourself flooded with business. And that stream of income, you're not really touching. So you can keep doing the hair and that you do. You can keep being the stylist that you are, and you have a stream of income that's working for you that ain't got nothing to do with you ain't got to manage that. Well, actually, you creating streams for other people, but you're creating income for yourself, and you have one less task that you have to do because you don't have to run your schedule. You just show up. And you do your appointments. You have a credit card in there. If somebody misses their appointment, automatically they get the charge. They get the charge for not canceling in time. And when they cancel in time, that puts that makes the time available again. Bam, somebody else is looking and they can get it. You can set it up so that it can alert people, hey, there was a cancellation. Would you like to, you can auction that thing out. A cancellation came up for tomorrow at 8:00. Who want it? Make a bid, make an offer. You know what I'm saying? It's all kinds of ways you can make that happen, and you can make it fun for yourself, create income from other people for other people, and keep that particular stream flowing for yourself. You can do that. So anyway, that was some real drip, because for real, I don't even know where that came from. I don't know why that came out today, but I'm glad it did. Hey, Renita, long time. Always. Who is Emu? Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Use it when you yeah. All right, Renita, got you. Okay. So anyway, on with the framing. As of today, the United States of America makes up less than 4.5% of the world's total population, but we consume more than 85% of the world's resources. Why do you think that is? It is because exactly what my sister just put out right here. So lazy with this. And honestly, Renita, I don't think that you or anybody else is actually lazy. I don't think that people are lazy. I think people are unmotivated. I think that people are uninspired. I think that sometimes people feel like, is it worth it? Is this juice worth the squeeze? That's why we're talking about commitment today. That's the reason why we're talking about commitment. So I'm going to get on down to this word, because that is a really good point that you made right there. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get into this word. Let me start with the foundational scripture for this show is Proverbs 22:17. And I like the New American Standard Version of the Bible. So that's mostly where I talk from, unless I say differently. So today it's all NASB. So anyway, Proverbs 22:17 says, incline your ear and hear the words of the wise and apply your mind to my knowledge. We're talking about economic healing. We're talking about financial dignity, and we're talking about capital inclusion. Be open to hearing new information and be prepared to apply new information. If you are on my page, if you are my friend, you saw a couple of articles that I posted this week that if I have time, I will talk about. But you see that the things that we're discussing here, you need this. You need this. You need this as badly as I need this. You need this. So I'm here to offer you some motivation, but really, if you're not inspired, if in spirit too, if it's not coming from inside of you, you're still not going to do it. You're going to know the right thing to do in your mind, and your heart ain't going to jump up. And it's not going to cause your legs to move and your hands to move and your mouth to move. You're just not going to do it. I had a lady, if you on my page, you will see, I posted a screenshot of a conversation. I'm sitting in my house, minding my business, polishing my halo, brushing my wings, folding the pleats in my robe. And somebody hit me up like, hey girl, out of the blue, somebody that I haven't spoken with in more than a year. Out of the blue, someone who I was wanting to recruit. I was literally trying to recruit this person for my trading business last year. And the way she hit me up was by sending me a flyer to join her and Mary Kay. And I don't feel no kind of way about it, because I understand that the assumption is that I'm just like her, and that I'm just like most people who will get an invitation to do something different. And the truth of the matter is, if you do something different has to happen. It is law. There is no way to get around that. You have to do something different if you want to see something different happen in your life. So anyway, she sends this Mary Kay flyer, and my normal is to just ignore it. Just don't even look. Don't say nothing. But I decided that day, and it wasn't for any reason. In fact, I think I might have been a little bit offended, to be honest with you. And what I did was I just wrote back, no, thank you. And that was enough. No, thank you was enough for this lady to open up to me. And, you know, she starts asking me how I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing what I do. Things are great. My life is great. I'm doing great things. I have wonderful things happening for me. And at some point in the conversation, she lets me know that she had been laid off from the job that she was at when I met her. And because they hired a bunch of people, and then they got a big contract. They hired a bunch of people. They lost the contract. They had to let people go. So she was one of the people that they hired and had to let go. So she had lost her income. And she said, that's what made me share it. She said, I wish I had joined you. And at the time, I said to her, listen, not enough of us. And by us at the time, I was referring specifically to Black women, but not just Black women. I just feel like Black women are often the last ones to get it, because we so busy, you know, getting it in and taking care of our families and taking care of, you know, everybody except ourselves, that a lot of times we don't take the time we need to just think. Every woman every day should have time to rest, to read, and to think. And we just don't do that. We don't do that. So anyway, she said that she wished that she had joined me. And that woke me all the way up. And I was like, how many others are out there? There's so many other people who don't have the courage or the motivation that this lady had to at least say, damn, I'm trying to do something different. She may not do anything different with me, but she's doing something different in her life. So anyway, that happened. We spent a lot of time being afraid. We spent a lot of time being unmotivated, uninspired, because it's way easier. It's way easier to just stay where I'm at and do what I'm doing and keep wishing for the thing, keep talking about it. I was told once before that talking about a thing tricks your brain into believing that you've actually done something about it. So I've stopped talking about certain things. And what's crazy is in my line of work, talking about things is where I find I get a lot of interaction. So I get a lot of feedback, and I can then synthesize and that kind of stuff. But I also recognize that was keeping me in place, because that's the thing that I do. So I had to figure out another way to get that information in and processed and synthesized so that I can continue to develop content that is relevant and useful. And then I started noticing that these articles are coming out. This last article that I was just about to mention was two of them. One of them was an article that talked about this, the courts, and how the courts have begun to openly side with debt collectors, third-party debt collectors. And the other one was, oh my goodness, what was that other one about? When I remember it, I'll tell you about it. But the point that I'm making is, you need this because things are changing. When things change, things change. And what you have been doing to get yourself by and to, build your empire, that shit ain't going to work for much longer. You have got to do some things differently. And in order to do some things differently, you have to begin to think about things in different ways. And part of my job is to inspire you or to motivate you to find the inspiration that you need in order to make the next move. Sometimes external motivation is exactly what you need. Sometimes you need a bear to be chasing you down a fucking hill in order to pedal harder. Sometimes you just need a minute to get quiet in your own mind so that you can be inspired, so you can get your motivation from the inside out. Sometimes you need that. But anyway, let's get into this word. We are talking about commitment. Jesus is talking here. Y'all know how much I love the New Testament. You know, this show is all about what God has to say about money. And, you know, I speak primarily from the New Testament. And the reason is because that's the only place that's recorded where Jesus himself spoke. So if I'm speaking to people about the Bible, the whole point of the Bible is Jesus, his divinity, and his ability, his reason for coming to this earth to provide or bring salvation. We've been taught it, the filters have been telling us, you know, about this passive Jesus who, you know, didn't really care about money, who was poor, who walked everywhere. None of that shit is true. None of it is true. None of it is accurate. Let me say it that way. There are some truisms in there, but none of it is really accurate. These filters have us thinking in a particular way. And what I'm here to do is help you to break up some fallow ground so you can recognize that there is nothing wrong. In fact, there is everything right in being wealthy, in accumulating wealth, in attracting wealth, in using wealth. You cannot, as a good person in this world, you cannot carry out your God-given mission unless you have money. Money is the second most discussed item in the Bible because right after God, who is the author of the Bible, right? Money is the second most discussed thing because God understood that if you were going to live here on earth, you was going to need you some money, okay? Money. So here, Jesus is talking about commitment. And in the context that he's discussing, he's talking about discipleship explicitly. And he has said, he got a big crowd of people around him, and he turned around to them and he started talking. He had already given some parables and whatnot. He'd already done the Jesus thing that he does. And then he turned around and he did the other Jesus thing that he does that people don't like to talk about. Jesus was extremely radical. He was an extremist. If he was alive today, he might not be blowing shit up, but he would be telling you that, what you're being taught is not useful to you. It has served its purpose already. It's gotten you to the place where you can now hear, okay? And I'm going to prove it to you because he said, he that has an ear to hear, let him hear, okay? So he got a lot of people around him, and he turned to him and he was like, listen, if any one of y'all want to follow me, if you want to be my disciple, then you got to give up and hate. He used the word hate. Now, the Bible, let's see. I'm going to do something real quick. I meant to look this up. The Strong's number for the word hate that Jesus used is G3404. Right? Now you can look that up on your own time. I'm not going to pull that up for you. It came up. It was taking its time. It was coming too late. It's taking too long. So, but let me go ahead and tell you what Strong says this word hate that Jesus used. The word is pronounced Miseo.
Strong's G3404, Miseo.
Okay, Miseo. So hopefully y'all heard that. Hopefully y'all were able to hear that. Miseo. And what he means when he says hate is pursue with hatred, detest, or hate. Like he meant it the way we understand the word hate. Okay? So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Jesus said, if you want to follow me, then you must hate. Hey, Monica. Hey, Rodney. Thank you very much for joining. You must hate, detest, abhor, don't want nothing to do with your own mother, your own father, your wife, your children, your brother, your sister, and yes, even you, your own life. Otherwise, you can't be my disciple. Now, that might not sound like the Jesus that you are accustomed to hearing about at church on Sundays. That sounds pretty freaking, man, that sounds pretty scary, actually. You mean to tell me that sounds very cult-like is what it sounds like. But this is how I interpret that. Jesus said, in other words, in 14:26, he asked the question, how committed are you? So, and what he is saying is, if you want to follow me, you got to be committed. You got to be committed if you want to follow me. Now, if you want to follow somebody else, you can go however you want to go. You can do whatever you want to do. But if you want to be my disciple, because disciples come to the teachers. Disciples go and they follow the teacher. The teachers don't go get disciples. Even though Jesus called them, it had to resonate. Otherwise, they would not have gone. So a lot of people think they're committed when really they just are participants. And let me help you understand the difference between someone who is committed and someone who is just participating. Whether you're a meat eater or not, you can understand this analogy, and you probably heard it many, many times before. But if you look at your breakfast plate, you can tell who committed and who just participated. If you got eggs and bacon on your plate, you know for a fact that the chicken participated, but the pig committed. That is how committed you got to be to getting yourself to the place that you want to be in your life from where you are right now. If you don't have that level of commitment, then you are not going to see the levels of improvement in your life that you want to see. It's just not going to happen. It's just that you're going to get some successes here and there, but you're not going to have the thing that you lay down and dream about. You're not going to get the thing that visits you at night and makes you feel like, oh, if I could just. You're not going to get that. It's not going to happen. It only happens with that level of commitment. I think a lot of us are afraid of that level of commitment because we don't know what that looks like, except the chicken and the bacon, right? And you're like, I don't know if I want to die for this, but there are things in your life for which you will die, and you know it. There are things in your life for which you will kill or die, and you know it. For me, it happens to be my bloodline. It happens to be my children and my grandchildren. I probably even my husband. But I cannot imagine being in a situation where I can and I may have to give up my life in order to protect them or make sure that they have what they need, and I don't do it. How would I even be able to live with myself after that? Those are the kinds of questions that when you really start going deep, like I know this is heavier than how we normally do, y'all. This is heavier than how we normally do. But when you start going deep, when you start really paying attention to what it is that you want in your life, you have to ask yourself, how committed am I? Am I the chicken or the pig? Am I going to be on this plate? And at different points in your life, you got to be the chicken before you can be the pig. Okay? At different points in your life, you can't just jump in and be the pig. The pig has given its life for this breakfast, for your breakfast. The chicken has given up a few kids that it didn't even meet yet. Okay? The next thing, let's keep going. So Jesus also said, if you don't carry your own cross and come after me, you can't be my disciple. Are you doing your part? In fact, let me ask you this question. You're an entrepreneur, right? You building your business, right? Are you doing your part? Are you doing all of the parts? Can you do all of the parts? So those are some important questions to ask yourself as an entrepreneur, someone who is running a business, someone who is building a business. You're not, my hope is that you're not just building a business so you can get money. My hope is that you're building a business so that you, as part of a legacy that you're creating, that will continue on after you. Because your legacy is the part that remains after you leave, and you create that thing right now. People get those things confused because they think the legacy is just after you die, but your legacy is actually right now. So everything that you're doing right now, you're doing with an eye toward what you're leaving behind. That's the point of a legacy, and everybody is going to leave a legacy. You just have to decide what you want the legacy to be. Is your legacy going to be one of you're a part of the continuation of the family that causes their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren and great-great-great-grandchildren on down to have to start from scratch each time? Will you not leave anything that allows your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, etc., your progeny to have a firmer footing in this world so that they can do the work that they got to do? Do you know that people are not doing the work that they came to this earth to do because they believe they got to work for money to earn a living? You were born alive, so there is no reason for you to earn a living. You're already alive. You don't have to earn it. It was you came here with it. You came here with your life. You do not have to earn a living. You're working to get money when what you're supposed to do is attract money. Jesus said, if you say to that mountain over there, be thou removed and cast into the sea, that mountain must move for you. That's what words are actually supposed to be for. Therefore, why you think they call it spelling? Words is for moving energy around. That's how you attract money to you. You're not supposed to be out here humping and dumping, trying to get work and hustling hard and all. You ain't supposed to be doing none of that. Anything that you chase will run. And when you're doing all that stuff, you're chasing money. When you're allowing yourself to feel negativity, anything that is not well-being, when you're allowing yourself to feel anything that is not well-being around money, you're chasing it. And I know that that's it. These words are kind of confusing to you, but that's what it's like when you're getting broken, when fallow ground is being broken up in your life. That's what happens. It sounds funny. It don't seem right. It seems off. It doesn't feel familiar. That's perfect. You're in the right place and you're doing the right thing. The lack of familiarity is what you're looking for. I made another post. That's the one that I can't remember right offhand what the what the article itself was about. But what I said is, I feel like a lot of you are not asking me for help. You're not taking the next step because you're a little bit too familiar with me. You feel like you know me. You feel like you know me, and familiarity breeds contempt. Contempt doesn't necessarily mean hatred. It just means, that's just Celebrity Mary. She be tripping, girl. She do a Bible study and she be cussing. Girl, she's so funny. But she be talking real shit. And if you actually listen, if you let it go in, if you can get past the delivery, if you can get past the whatever it is that you're feeling, and actually just listen, have those ears to hear. If you get past that, then you will get these nuggets. These seeds will get down in there. And I'm good with, Paul says some water, some plant, but only God gives the increase. I'm good with any part of that. The God in you will give you the increase. All your job is to just listen, just receive, get you some popcorn, right? So Jesus said, if you can't carry your own cross and come after him, you can't be his disciple. So if you can't hate everything and everybody, including yourself, in order to follow him, you can't be his disciple. If you can't carry your own cross, do your part, carry your weight, and come after him, you can't be his disciple. He went on to say, by the way, let me tell you something else. The other side of that coin, when I was asking the question, can you do all of the parts to run your business? That also is how depletion is created. If you're constantly giving, doing, being, in, if you're constantly on, and no one else is filling you back up, after a while, your cup becomes empty and you cannot give from an empty cup. That is how you create depletion. There has to be an equitable exchange. And this thing that Jesus is asking for, to basically to commit, to be the pig. If you're willing to be the pig, then he must have something really awesome to give you back in order to keep you from becoming depleted. Okay? He got to have something huge to give you back so that you do not become depleted. Depletion is not the goal here, y'all. Depletion is not the goal. So don't get that twisted. Don't think that's what I'm saying. Don't think that's what Jesus is saying. Don't think that that's the point. All right? Don't think that's the point. Hold on. Hold on. Don't worry about it. I was trying to do something else. But anyway, don't worry about it. So Jesus goes on to say, if you decided that you were going to build a tower, or in our day, you decide you're going to build a house, you decide you're going to build anything, you decide you're going to start a business, who does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if you got enough to complete it? This girl. I did that. He says, for which one of you wants to build a tower does not first sit down and calculate the cost to see if he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he's laid a foundation and is not able to finish it, all who observe it begin to ridicule him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. My position is, if the worst thing that's going to happen is that some niggas is going to laugh at you, fine. All is not lost. That's okay. The truth of the matter is, when I started my business, I thought I knew what I was doing, but baby, it didn't take long for me to figure out I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I did not know what I was doing. I did not I didn't count the cost. I had overlooked the fact that the most glaring fact, which was when I started doing the work that I was doing, that I was calling my own business. When I started doing that, I had a full-time job and I had a full-time paycheck with full-time benefits. I had a whole team of people that I worked with who helped me get things done at my job where they was paying me a check so that I could have the free time that I needed in order to do this thing that I was calling run my own business. And when it came time for me to actually run my own business, like when the severance ran out, when the savings ran out, when all of that happened and all that I had was the money that I went out, like I had to eat what I killed, I had to go, get the money. That's when panic set in. And that's when I finally started to count the cost. That's another point that I wanted to make. There is no rule that says that you can't count from where you at to where you want to be. Yeah, okay, you started your tower, you laid your foundation, but you weren't able to finish building it because you didn't have enough money or whatever it was. Maybe you didn't get a land survey. Maybe you didn't realize that, this was on a 5-year floodplain. Maybe you didn't know all of these things because you didn't sit down and count the cost. But here you are now, you own it. Now what you going to do? Do you abandon it? Do you walk away from it? Like what happens? What do you do next? So there is no rule from my perspective, and in my life, there's no rule that says you can't start from right where you at right now, today. This is where I'm talking about motivation. Be committed to this thing. If you're committed, you'll find the motivation. You'll find the inspiration. So there is a difference between inspiration and motivation. Let me make a clarifying point here. Motivation comes from external things. Okay, so that's where one of the motivations might be, I don't want people to laugh at me when they see that I haven't been able to finish this tower. So you start digging holes for yourself. You go get into debt that you don't know how to manage. You start hiring the wrong people. You go for the lowest price, not recognizing that this person is a scam artist and is not going to finish your project for you. You start making bigger mistakes, right? That's that you moving off of motivation, but you're not moving in the right direction because you still haven't really counted up the cost. Inspiration would be something like, I just want to see this tower stand. It doesn't matter to me how anybody else sees this tower. Nobody else can see this vision that I have. It's kind of like, so last night I was watching I watched Hip Hop Evolution. And these episodes were talking about the East Coast, West Coast beef between Biggie and Tupac. And one of the people was talking about Tupac, and what they said about him is that Pac was someone who always saw himself as great. He knew that he had a greater purpose here in this world, and what he wanted. If you pay attention, remember, one of the things that Tupac said when he did Thug Life. People was walking around going thug life, and I don't know that a lot of people understood what it meant. It was actually an acronym. And Thug Life actually stands for the hate you give little infants fucks everyone. That was what Thug Life meant. And he was talking about systemic injustice. He was the child of a Black Panther. He was born into a culture that understood that the culture that he was born into was trying to kill him. The system he was born into was trying to kill him, didn't want him to be great, didn't want him to come and do the work that he came to earth to do. He was born a warrior. So acting and rapping and, being out front, all of that stuff, that was part of it for him. That was his path. That was the road that he chose to take. Things went the way they went, and everybody know the story. But the point that I was making here is that inspiration, he was inspired to be his better self, his greater self, his greatest self, and to do the work that he came to earth to do from within. That was his inspiration. He was less motivated by what was going. He became motivated by what went on around him and outside of him after he got shot. I noticed that difference. And Shock G was talking about it because they was boys. They were actually friends for many, many years. And Shock said that after he got shot and when he went to death row, he was like, I didn't even recognize my friend anymore. I had no idea who this person was because he wasn't talking about the things that he had been talking about. He wasn't talking about his work anymore. He was bitter, he was angry, he was scared, and and he felt like he had been betrayed. Whether he was or wasn't is debatable, but he felt like he had been betrayed. And because he felt like he had been betrayed by someone, and you can only be betrayed by someone who is close to you. So because he felt like he had been betrayed, he then began to look at everyone like anyone can betray me. And the rest then again becomes history. So Tupac before the shooting was an inspired Tupac. Tupac after the shooting was a motivated Tupac. Tupac after the shooting was, in the studio all day, all night, grinding it out, getting it out. I mean, and putting out monster bangers. Everybody knows, right? But he was processing all of the things that were motivating him at that time were dark, whereas everything that had inspired him was light. Everything that had inspired him was for the world. Everything that motivated him was for himself. You see the difference? When he was inspired, he was wanting to expand and be great so that he could bring everybody with him. When he became motivated, he went dark and he became insular, and he really began to tighten up on himself and protect himself. He walled himself off. Wow. That is the best. That y'all just got to observe me recognize for myself another way to understand the difference between inspiration and motivation. He is a real life example of someone who is inspired versus motivated. And we see where his motivation ended up getting him. Hey, Fawn, thank you very much for joining, love. Greetings to you, beautiful. So anyway, if the biggest thing you got to worry about is somebody laughing at you, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't no rule that say you can't start counting up the cost from right where you are right now. You have learned some really important lessons through all of those missteps that you made. And the truth of the matter is your lessons really come from the failures, whether it's somebody else's failure or your own. That's where lessons come from. You don't really learn by winning, although you either win or you learn. So you still win because you learn, but you really learn when you don't win. That's the only other option. There is no loss. There is no failure. There is no failure. You either win or you learn. Another thing that Jesus said, another example, just like this, when he said, when a king wants to meet another king in battle, doesn't he first sit down and consider if he's strong enough with his 10,000 to go against this nigga that got 20,000? We all know that you can go against 20,000 with 10,000 and be victorious. You can come back with 9,000 out of your 10,000, and they could end up with only 5,000. You could do that. It could happen easy. You got to be strategic. But he still has to count up the cost. He still has to have a strategy. Bigger can be overwhelming. Yeah, your 20,000 to my 10,000, but smarter is what wins the battles. If you got 20,000 that's trying to fight in an organized way, and I got 10,000 guerrillas, niggas that'll dig a trench and drop 15 people in it, and you don't even know what happened to you. If you got dudes doing stuff like that, it only take 3 of them to do it. Listen, you can win. It's very easy. You just got to be strategic. You got to be smarter. So being smart is how you win a battle, and winning battles is how you win the wars. You don't focus on, the war, winning the war. Focus on winning your battles. In football, y'all know it's football season. I know it's football season. My husband told me how I got to get out of my office so he can come use the TV in my office so he can watch the game at 1 o'clock, and he in pools and all this other stuff. Nevertheless, I ain't tripping because I don't care. I ain't tripping because I don't care. It's plenty of places around here I can be in this house. Anyway, in football, I heard this a long time ago, and I believe it. Hey, Cecilia, thank you very much for joining, love. I believe this. You don't focus on touchdowns. You focus on first downs. I've watched football myself. and you watch it on TV. So it's very different watching it in the stadium than it is watching it on TV. I've learned a lot about life watching it on TV. I look at where they make those lines on the screen so that the person at home, namely me, someone who is okay, what the hell is PS? You got to tell me what PS is, because you cracking me up. The person at home like me who doesn't know the game, I never played the game. My boys didn't play the game in an organized fashion, so I was not a football mom and all this other stuff. But I learned a lot watching where they put those lines on TV. I don't ask questions. They show you everything on TV and they comment. So I've learned how to watch football by watching it on TV, because that's what they teach it to you. So when I'm looking at when I'm looking at them down, and don't fight me about this language, because I don't know that part, because I ain't studying it, but I do pay attention. So when the offense has the ball and they're putting those lines on the screen, they're letting me know that all the person has to do, whoever has the ball, usually the quarterback's job is to get the ball into the hands of someone who is going to get 10 yards away from where they are now, in the right direction toward the field goal, right? That's the quarterback's only job in that minute. That's all he has to worry about. That's all he has to do. Whichever receiver is going to catch that ball has one job. Get the ball 10 yards from where you are to where it needs to be. You need 10 yards. And everybody else on the field, everybody else on the offensive line has one job. Keep these other niggas off whatever nigga got the ball and a jersey like mine. That's it. They got one job. That's it. They got one job. Oh, girl, whatever. I have it, girl. Okay, I'm gonna tell my husband you said that, because apparently he is a Ravens fan and he believes that the Ravens are gonna beat whoever they're supposed to be playing today. That's who he got his money on. So okay, got it. So anyway, so everybody on the field has one job. The offensive team has the job of moving the ball 10 yards in the direction of the field goal, and the defending team, the defenders, have one job: keep that fucking ball from moving 10 yards in the direction of the field goal. That's it. It seems real simple to me. They make it hard, and they be doing all kinds of stuff, and X's and O's and dots and dashes and all that. They do all of that. But I get it. Everybody got one job. You got one job to do. If the ball is in your hand, your job is to get that ball 10 yards in the direction that of your field goal. That's your job. Okay? Another thing that Jesus said is, with regard to the kings going to war, what if the king says, you know what? I can't whoop them with this 10,000. So I'm going to send a delegation out and I'm going to ask for terms of peace. I'm going to send my emissaries to go out there and sue for peace. Live the fight another day. If the thing is too big for you, you don't quit. You don't stop. You don't decide, I ain't building this tower. I'm not going to, fuck it. We can't whoop them. So, we just going to have to get them all our shit. That is not how it goes. Sue for peace. Sue for peace. Live the fight another day. If you let your enemies believe that you believe they're more powerful than you, if you stroke their egos, if you give them the thing that they're asking for, there is nothing that says that you cannot or should not. In fact, your destiny dictates that you must allow the idea that you had for going to battle in the first place to continue to live. Those who are loyal to you must know how to carry out whatever it is that your legacy is supposed to be, or whatever it is that you believe your legacy is. Whatever work I'm doing, it is my expectation that somebody with my blood running through their veins, whether it's one of my children, one of my grandchildren, one of my in-law children, one of my children-in-law or grandchildren-in-law, somebody in my bloodline is going to keep my ideas alive after I am gone. You can kill a person, you cannot kill an idea. So remember that we talking about Jesus, and Jesus was talking about how to be his disciple, and the fact that if you don't give up everything, if you're not completely committed to this thing, you can't follow him. So what if the thing that what if you're not trying to follow Jesus? What if you're trying to create abundance for your family, for your, for your progeny? What if you're trying to create a head start for your great grandchildren? What is it that you're trying to do? What is it that is your work here in this earth? What is it that will cause you to say, you know what? Okay, I can die now. I'm going to lay down tonight and I'm going to go to sleep and I ain't got to get up no more because I know that this thing is happening. What is that? And are you committed to it? What is that? And are you committed to it? Jesus goes on to say that if salt is good, right? He says, he's saying all the things you got to do, sue for peace. He also says, he said to these people who were following him, none of y'all can be my disciple because you're not willing to give up all of your own possessions. Totally sold out. That's what he said you got to do in order to be his disciple. You got to sell out completely. You got to be committed, completely committed. You cannot be fucking around with the momentum. You cannot be in one day and out the other. You cannot be saying, I'm going to be doing this and then, it ain't going to work. It didn't work. It don't look like how I thought it was going to look, so I don't want to do this no more. You can't do that. When you do that, that's when he says salt is good. But even salt becomes tasteless. If salt becomes tasteless, who gonna use it? If the salt ain't no good, who gonna use it? Even if it ain't got no more flavor. You can't use it for nothing. You can't even put it in the earth. You can't even use it to keep things from growing or to kill the smell on the manure pile. If the salt ain't got no flavor, what you gonna use it for? But here's what I have to say to you today. You've not lost your flavor. In fact, the more you learn, because again, you either win or you learn, the more seasoned you become. Babe, you're still the salt of the earth. You are still the salt of the earth. You just got to decide where you're going to be sprinkled at and in what concentrations. You have to be completely committed to the thing that you said you were going to do. Completely committed. I am recommitting myself to you, to me, to this show, to Bag Lady Revive, to getting this information out. Because y'all, seriously, I'm inspired to do the work that I came here to do, which is to help people to move into their own destiny. That's my job. I keep saying things like, I want to help Black women become millionaires. I mean that with everything in me. I'm a Black woman. It makes sense that that's what I want to do, but it is not to the exclusion of anyone else. It's not. But the rest of y'all, it's just like Jesus said in another place when this lady was begging him for a miracle. And he was like, listen, I came here for the children. Should I give the children's bread to the dogs? And she said, dog, look, Jesus, even dogs get the scraps that fall off the table. The rest of y'all can come, but my mission is to myself. I'm a Black woman. So if I'm helping me to become millionaires, guess what? I got to help every other Black woman that want to do it. And if you want to catch the scraps that's falling off the table, you're welcome to do it. I'm not turning anybody away. Jesus said, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. I'm saying the same thing. If you got ears to hear, then hear my words. Hear me. Follow me. You need me. You need the information that I have. Yes, Cecilia, you have not lost your flavor. The more lessons we learn, the more we learn, the more seasoned we become, babe. None of us have lost our flavor. We still got time. Count the cost. Do some things. Let me give you a couple practical steps. Write stuff down. I had this conversation with my daughter a few days ago, and it took a long time for me to do it too. So don't think that I just jumped out the womb going, I need to write things down. It took a minute for me to recognize, even though I knew it in my mind, I knew that there is a hand-brain connection that seems to cause things to happen. Write shit down. Write it down. Why do you think they call it spelling? Get the fuck over it, y'all. It is what it is. There's a reason why they call it spelling. Write your shit down. Write it down. Write it down and watch it happen. Put yourself in the way of the thing that you want to have happen. I'm always putting myself right in the middle of money, right? If I see money flowing somewhere, I'm right there. Hey, what y'all doing? What y'all doing? I'm letting money beat me, pelt me, fall all over me. I don't care. I'm putting myself right in the middle, right in the way of anything that is moving me toward what it is that I want to do. Get out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone is the most dangerous place you could ever be. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something that you're not accustomed to doing. That's how you wake yourself up. You got to wake yourself up. Write it down. I'm giving you practical steps. Write it down. Do something different. Wake yourself up. Get out of your comfort zone. These are things that you can do. Do those two things. I ain't going to give you the whole long list. Do those two things. And then next week, when we come back, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Go drive a different route to work. Get something other than the same type of coffee that you get every day. Try something new. Do something different. When you do something different, it causes a chain reaction in your life. Different things have to happen because you've done something different. That's how you wake yourself up. And I'm not telling you to be a hotep or a hertep. I'm not telling you to, be woke like that. You know what I'm saying? My brother. I ain't telling you to do that. I'm telling you to wake up, though. It's time to wake up. These people are not your friend. This system is designed to chew you up and spit you out. And if it does it to you, what do you think it's going to do to your children and your grandchildren? I had somebody say to me that they ain't, like all that leaving stuff behind. They ain't really into that. And it shocked me. But this person is from another time. It was different. And I do believe, even in that conversation, I do believe that was a function of, I didn't do it. So, kind of like sour grapes, Aesop's fable, sour grapes. Since I couldn't get it done, then I don't want it anyway. Okay. Well, anyway, y'all, I have come to that part of the show where you know what it is. Let's see. Cece says, have I noticed a difference between handwriting versus typing it? Yes. Handwriting it, typing it, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because you still got to do some of the same things. So let me tell you what happens when you write things down. When you write something down, right? When you write something down, it takes time. You got to make you have to make the motions with your hands. So you're engaging more of your senses. You got to feel the pen. You got to feel the paper. You don't write as fast as you think. So you actually have to kind of slow down. You have to really focus on it. So you're focused when you're writing. You have to really feel it. You have to put intentions into it. So you're in tune. You're putting intentions into your writing. When you are doing those things, you really are creating. You're doing the thing that the law of attraction says to do. You give it, you have a strong feeling about it. You give it your focus and your attention and your energy and your intent. And when you're done writing, you put the pen down, you let the paper go, and you let it go. Writing it down, I feel like, is more effective because we do a lot less writing nowadays than we used to. Writing it down doesn't feel the same as typing it, right? When you're typing, when you're at work, you're typing. When when you're interacting with your friends, you're typing. When you are on social media and responding to email, all those things, you're typing. But it is extremely rare for us nowadays to be writing. So you kind of have to create an environment in order to write. At least that's what happens in my life. I'm typing so much. I'm on my phone. I'm on either of these phones. I'm on a tablet, or I'm on my computer. I'm typing so often that I don't even think about typing. When I'm writing, though, it's very different. It feels different. Hey, Malik, thank you very much for joining. It feels different. It's a whole other kind of situation that happens when I'm writing versus when I'm typing. Now I'm gonna tell you something else that I have done. Yeah, Alexis. Yeah, It's different. It's different when you type in. It's different than when you're writing. But I'm gonna tell you something else, Cecilia, Sunshine, that I found to be, I feel like, probably as effective. I told you, CC, I told you he was gonna come on here with that. Today is Baltimore Ravens Day. I don't know who playing what, who playing who. But I have found that when I do an electronic journal, if I turn on my camera and I talk to myself, and I'm gonna tell you that works kind of like when you're looking in the mirror. I notice that when I do an electronic diary, or what I call a digital diary entry, when I do that, I'm looking at myself and I start out my conversation usually with a lot of I. By the time it's done, though, I have reached a point where I'm saying you. And what I believe happens is that as I become more present and more in tuned with my higher self, my inner thoughts begin to come out, and my inner thoughts begin to refer to what the Dolphins got to do with this, Jason? What is wrong with you? Why? He just threw me off. You make me sick. The Dolphins are still the winningest team in the NFL. They are the only team still to this day unbeaten record for a perfect season. No one else has done it. I'm just saying. You can say whatever you want to say about the Dolphins. Nobody else has done it. Anyway, like I was saying, Cecilia, with regard to the digital diary entry, for me, when I am when I'm there, I feel like I kind of switch roles. It feels like my higher self begins to talk to me. And I have a digital record of it where I can play it back. And it's kind of something to watch, because I can see the flip. Like I said, I go from a lot of, whenever I'm doing I is usually I'm upset about something. Something has happened. I'm feeling some kind of way. It's something like that, right? But by the time I'm done, I have talked it all through. I've talked it out, and I feel my back is straighter. I'm sitting up straight, and my smarter self, my higher self, my God self has come through and ministered to the me that needed to be ministered to. So that's what my experience has been. That's how it's happened for me. Alexis, I'm a writer as well. I used to journal. I used to do more reading than journaling. Then I started journaling. Then I stopped journaling. Then I stopped reading, because I just got into this place where, I was doing all the time. I was doing all the time. And that didn't get me what I was after. It didn't. So I've begun to read again, which is reading is kind of an escape for me. But I noticed that my reading material has changed. I love audiobooks. If I'm taking a like a road trip, I find me some audiobooks to put on, and it gets me wherever I'm going quick. It gets me there fast. Yeah, I agree, Cecilia. That's what's been happening with me. That's how the thing has been going for me. Let's see. Jason is crazy, y'all. Ignore him. He's out of his mind. He is completely out of his mind. Ain't nobody stunned him. I'm not going to argue with you about the Dolphins. What I was getting ready to say, though, is if all hearts and minds are clear, I'm going to go ahead and release this line, because we've gone over a little bit. Oh, that, what, that feels good to me. And it feels good to me because I missed y'all, and I've missed doing this show. I've told you before that when I do this show, it really is me ministering to myself, and you guys get to eavesdrop. Y'all get to participate in that. But I do enjoy the company. Y'all know how much I like people and how much I like hanging out with people. Y'all know how much I enjoy that. So this makes sense. So I appreciate y'all for being here with me. And more than anything, I love each and every one of you. And there's absolutely nothing that any of you can do about it. Peace.